right now this morning. John, good morning to you. You know, federal employees have until tonight, that is the deadline, to make their decision. So far, Trump administration falling far short of that target. So how do you think this is going to play out in the end?
Well, good morning. It's great to be on. I think it's going to play out well for taxpayers, and this is just a first step. There are already efforts in Congress to encourage federal employees to do early retirement. There are a lot of ways to get at this issue, so this is really just the first attempt. And I would encourage people to, think about technology, think about how telecommunications have changed over the past 30, 40, 50 years, where back, decades ago, we had switchboard operators. Now, imagine if someone would propose downsizing the shiftboard operators, that would be common sense. But at the time, it would be seen as really difficult. People would accuse it of being draconian. And so what Elon Musk is really proposing here is he's signaling that there is a major technological shift underway in this country towards greater efficiency through artificial intelligence technology that can allow, for example, an employee that oversees permitting with the EPA. You could have one good employee outperform 10 or 20 if they know how to use technology. And that's really what he's getting at. And we've shown through the oversight work I did when I worked for Senator Coburn that when you downsize federal government, you can actually improve the quality of services. And this was confirmed by outside audits with GAO. And I think that's really what DOGE is doing. And this is just a first step. This is not going to solve our debt deficit problem, but it is the kind of step you have to take if you're really serious about getting your arms wrapped around the massive federal government we have today in the administrative state.
Well, yeah, you pointed out efficiency and improving quality. I kind of want to take us through some of the numbers that we are discussing right now. We're looking at, you see it here, federal workers offered these buyouts, and you can see what we're looking at. 200,000 federal workers, more than 200,000 federal workers right now, and this is coming from the Trump administration. 6% of federal workers, they are working full-time in the office. Only 6%. That's a very low number. That's when we talk about efficiency, like you just mentioned. And then here we have the 200,000 that are expected to take the buyout. So once again, I just want to reiterate, this is phase one of the plan that they are trying to put in place. Let's talk about the CIA and their role in all of these offered buyouts. Now the latest agency offering buyouts to its entire workforce if they quit. The move backed by the new CIA director, John Radcliffe, and it is offering part of this as a broader effort by the Trump administration to shrink, like you said, the federal government and save taxpayer money. Eligible employees could receive around 8 months of pay. We know that if they resign. So how do you see this playing out, especially when it comes to the CIA? How would this affect our national security?
Well, I think it could improve our national security, because if you have people move out that are no longer productive and effective, that allows more resources to go to the people that are effective and that are productive. And I think the CIA is a unique agency, obviously, because you do need human intelligence. You can't automate a lot of the vital human intelligence work the CIA does, but those people that do that work are just a small percentage of what the CIA does. But if you think about an agency like the EPA, that's a better example where you're going to find more savings, or Department of Education. But with EPA, we have 223 public affairs officers just within the EPA. That's bigger than a lot of PR firms. And it sort of begs the question, what do they do all day? Why do you need an agency that has a massive PR firm within the agency? And those are the types of things that Elon and DOGE are going to look at. And particularly, and Department of Education, what value has the Department of Education brought the country? Why not significantly downsize it and shift those dollars to high-performing employees and to states and individual families, so they can take those dollars and shop for the school of their choice? And so there's all kinds of ways to produce savings and do it in a way that's compassionate to people who are working. This isn't about demonizing federal employees. It's about applying common sense. And I'll just add one important point. You've talked about the 6%. Only 6% of employees are coming to work. There's a double cost here, because what happens is we're paying to keep those buildings open. We're spending about $15 billion a year just to keep federal buildings open, and some of them are already turning into homeless encampments. So it's a very embarrassing waste of taxpayer dollars that's happening in Washington, D.C. And so you can't have it both ways. There are arguments, particularly in the private sector, where you can have some remote work and but it's the president's discretion to tell people to come back to the office. But it makes no sense to be paying for a building and to be paying people to work remotely. So there's a double savings that can happen here through these efficiencies.
Well, like you said, there's a lot more to come. We're in phase 1, and there's much more that's going to play out. We'll be watching this deadline to see how many end up taking it. John Hart, thank you for your time this morning. We'll continue to check in with you.